You know that feeling, right? That sudden jolt when the lights flicker and suddenly your control over your home or maybe your work or even that weekend camping trip just it vanishes. Or maybe you're miles out, deep into an RV adventure, or you're on a remote job site, elbow deep in something, and the one thing you absolutely need is reliable power. That feeling, that need for power, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. We're really getting down to the nuts and bolts of high wattage portable generators. And this isn't just about, keeping a few lights on. It's about powering your world when the grid decides not to or simply can't. Our mission here is to explore two real powerhouse models. These are ones many of you look at for serious backup, the Westinghouse WGen9500DF and the Generac GP9500 tri-fuel. And our goal, well, it's to help you understand the nuances, the maybe surprising differences, and figure out which one might be the absolute perfect fit for what you need. So first things first, when the power goes out, the big question is, can it handle what I need it to? Let's talk raw power. What kind of muscle are we looking at with these machines?
Yeah, and that's the core, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's fascinating right off the bat is that on gasoline, they both deliver identical numbers. And they're impressive numbers.
Are identical.
Exactly.
Okay.
9,500 running watts and a peak or starting wattage of 12,500 watts. That is a lot of electricity.
Okay, 12,500 peak. So what does that translate to, practically speaking?
Well, practically, it puts both these generators firmly into the category of serious backup power. Maybe even whole home, depending on the home. We're not just talking, a lamp and a phone charger.
Right.
This kind of wattage means you can run multiple major appliances at the same time. Think your refrigerator, maybe a central air conditioner unit or a couple of window units, a sump pump.
Critical stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Things you need to prevent bigger problems like food spoiling or basements flooding, maybe even an electric water heater. For a lot of homes, this is enough to keep things comfortable and functional. Now, there is one slight distinction to mention. The Westinghouse, when it runs on propane, has slightly different specs. It's 8,500 running watts and 11,200 peak. For the Generac, while we know it also runs on propane and natural gas too, which we'll get to, the specific wattage figures for those fuels aren't explicitly listed in the info we have right now.
Okay.
So for a direct power comparison, that powerful gasoline performance is where they really line up side by side.
That makes sense. But quick question, does that identical wattage mean they deliver the power in exactly the same way? Or could there be subtle differences? Say if an air conditioner suddenly kicks on, does the Westinghouse handle that surge differently than the Generac?
Ah, that's a really good question. It gets into the nuances of engine design and governor response.
Right.
While the rated output is the same, how quickly each generator responds to that sudden heavy load, that AC compressor kicking in, is a classic example. There could be tiny differences. Sometimes you might find a slightly larger engine, like the Generacs, might recover just a fraction faster from those big peak demands. But honestly, both of these units are built for stability. They're designed to handle those common residential and job site surges really well. The numbers themselves are a strong sign they're reliable in practice.
Okay, good to know. So the power is there, but, well, power is no good if you can't fuel the thing, right? And this, I think, is where it gets really interesting. This could actually change how you think about your power strategy. We're talking fuel types.
Yeah.
And how that impacts your flexibility, especially when things get unpredictable. So the Westinghouse WGen9500DF, that one's a dual fuel generator.
That's right. Dual fuel. It runs on either standard gasoline or propane, LPG.
Okay.
And this dual fuel capability, it's more than just convenient. It's a strategic advantage. Think about it. Maybe after a big storm, gasoline is suddenly hard to find, or the lines are miles long.
Yeah, happens all the time.
But maybe you have propane tanks stored for your grill, or they're easier to get hold of. Having that alternative fuel source, it gives you resilience. You're not totally dependent on one supply chain.
So that dual fuel, that already offers a pretty fantastic level of flexibility. But connecting this to the bigger picture, the Generac, the GP9500, it takes that flexibility even further, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This is where the Generac really differentiates itself. It's a tri-fuel generator.
Tri-fuel. Okay, so gasoline, propane.
And natural gas.
Okay.
And that natural gas option, honestly, for home backup, that can be a complete game changer.
How so?
Because if your home has a natural gas line, you can potentially have this generator professionally hooked directly into it.
Wait, directly into the house gas line?
Exactly. And what that means is, effectively, an unlimited fuel supply.
Wow.
Think about that. No more storing dozens of gallons of gasoline, worrying if it's gone bad. No more running out to swap heavy propane tanks in the middle of the night, maybe in bad weather.
That sounds amazing, actually.
It really is. It's not just convenience, it fundamentally changes the logistics. During a really long outage, managing fuel becomes a major headache. Natural gas eliminates that headache entirely. It's a huge step towards energy independence for your home.
Unlimited fuel, that is a massive advantage for home backup. But, okay, practically speaking, for someone thinking about the Generac for natural gas, is that hookup complicated?
That's a fair question. So the generator itself has a simple fuel selector switch. Makes it easy to choose gasoline, propane, or natural gas. But yes, connecting it to your home's natural gas line, that definitely requires professional installation.
Right, safety first.
Absolutely.
Mm.
You need a qualified plumber or gas fitter to do it safely and make sure it meets all the local codes. It's a one-time setup cost, but then you have that incredible low-maintenance fuel solution ready to go.
Makes sense. Invest up front for long-term ease.
Precisely. Once it's installed, operating it on natural gas is as simple as flipping that switch.
Okay, so we've covered the power output, we've covered the really interesting fuel options, but what about endurance? Because sometimes an outage isn't just a flicker, is it? It can be a marathon. How long can these generators keep the lights on before you need to refuel? Let's talk runtime.
Right, and this is another area where we see some pretty interesting differences emerge. Let's start with the Westinghouse WGen9500DF. It's powered by a 457cc Westinghouse engine, an OHV engine.
Okay.
It has a 6.6-gallon gasoline tank. And what's really impressive here is the efficiency. It delivers up to 12 hours of runtime at a 50% load on that tank of gasoline.
12 hours. That's quite a stretch.
It is. That potentially gets you through an entire night without having to go out and refuel. A huge plus.
Definitely. So wait, a 457cc engine, 6.6-gallon tank gives you 12 hours. That feels efficient.
Extremely efficient. Now, compare that to the Generac GP9500 tri-fuel. It actually uses a larger engine, a 500cc Generac OHV engine. It has a bigger fuel tank, too, 7.5 gallons.
Okay. Bigger engine, bigger tank. So longer runtime.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But actually, no. The Generac offers a shorter runtime on gasoline, up to about 9.5 hours at that same 50% load.
Huh. That is counterintuitive. Smaller engine, smaller tank on the Westinghouse gets you more runtime. How does that work?
Yeah, it really highlights an important point about engineering and fuel efficiency, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It seems Westinghouse has really optimized this specific engine and generator combination for fuel economy at that moderate load level.
Interesting.
So the insight here for you, the listener, is that bigger isn't always better, at least not for runtime. Engine efficiency, how it's tuned, it plays a massive role. If your top priority is maximizing the time between refueling, having that hands-off operation for as long as possible, well, that extra 2.5 hours from the Westinghouse could be really significant.
Yeah, that extra 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
that definitely could be the difference between getting a solid night's sleep during an outage or having to bundle up and go outside in the dark, maybe in the rain or snow, to refuel. But okay, does that bigger Generac engine, the 500cc one, offer any other advantages that might sort of offset its lower runtime? Maybe something like overall durability or performance under tougher conditions?
That's a fair point to consider. While the Westinghouse clearly wins on fuel efficiency for that extended runtime, a larger displacement engine, like the Generac's 500cc, can sometimes translate to a bit more raw torque. It might feel slightly more robust or recover a fraction quicker under really sudden, very heavy loads, or maybe perform better in extreme temperatures or altitudes.
Okay.
It could also suggest a design philosophy that's maybe leaning more towards absolute brute force durability for, say, continuous commercial use or very demanding applications. It's subtle, but potentially relevant for some users pushing the limits.
Right, a subtle distinction, but could matter depending on exactly how you plan to use it.
Excellent point. Okay, so we've got power, fuel, runtime. What about the other stuff? The features that make life easier and maybe more importantly, safer. Let's talk about those thoughtful additions. For the Westinghouse WGen9500DF, what are the standouts there?
Well, for the Westinghouse, probably the biggest convenience feature, the one people really talk about, is its remote start key fob.
Remote start, like for a car. Exactly like that. Imagine you're inside, it's pouring rain, freezing cold, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can start or stop the generator from up to 260 feet away just by pressing a button on this little fob.
Okay, that's not just a small thing. That sounds incredibly convenient, especially in nasty weather.
It really is. It moves from being a nice-to-have to almost a necessity for some people in those situations. Big quality of life improvement during an emergency.
I can see that. What else?
It also has something called a VFT data center. It's a digital display. And it's more than just an hour meter. It shows you real-time voltage, the frequency which should be stable at 60 hertz, and the total lifetime hours run.
Why is that useful?
Well, tracking those hours is key for staying on top of scheduled maintenance, like oil changes. Keeping an eye on voltage and frequency helps you understand if the generator is performing correctly. It's like a little health monitor for the unit.
Gotcha. Proactive maintenance.
Exactly. And one more thing, it typically comes bundled with everything you need right away. The battery for the electric start, a charger for that battery, oil, even the propane hose. So it's pretty much ready to go. Or plug and play right out of the box.
That's handy. Less stuff to buy separately. Okay, so that remote start on the Westinghouse sounds like a huge convenience win. Now, what about the Generac GP9500 tri-fuel? Does it counter with a different kind of killer feature?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And the Generac's standout feature leans heavily into safety. It includes their CoSense technology.
CoSense? What's that?
It's a built-in carbon monoxide sensor.
Yes.
CO, carbon monoxide, is that odorless, colorless, dangerous gas produced by running engines.
Right, the silent killer.
Precisely. The CoSense system constantly monitors the air around the generator. If it detects dangerously high levels of CO building up, it automatically shuts the generator down.
Wow. Okay, that's huge.
It is huge. For anyone using a generator, especially near a home or occupied space, even if following all the safety guidelines about placement, this provides an absolutely critical layer of protection. It offers undeniable peace of mind. It's a major safety innovation.
I agree that CoSense sounds like a non-negotiable safety feature for many people, especially for home backup. But let me push back slightly. If someone's primary use is, say, an open-air construction site, far from any enclosed spaces, is that CO sensor still the top priority compared to maybe the sheer convenience of that remote start for daily operation? Sounds like a potential trade-off.
That's exactly the kind of calculation a buyer needs to make. You're weighing convenience against an advanced safety system. While remote start is fantastic for ease of use, particularly in bad weather residential scenarios, CoSense addresses a potentially life-threatening hazard, which is paramount in almost any situation where people are nearby. The Generac also emphasizes durability in other ways. It has covered outlets, protecting them from dust, debris, and moisture.
Good for job sites.
Definitely. And it's built with a very rugged, heavy-duty steel tube cradle.
Yeah.
It just feels built to take a beating, which again speaks to its suitability for those tougher environments, whether it's a construction site or just needing extra resilience at home.
Okay.
And like the Westinghouse, it also features an electric start with the battery included, so starting it up is always hassle-free.
Right.
So yes, you're really looking at that ultimate convenience of the remote start with the Westinghouse versus the strategic advantage of tri-fuel capability and that critical CoSense safety feature on the Generac.
Okay, this has been incredibly helpful. So let's try and bring it all together for someone listening right now, trying to decide, what does this all mean for your specific situation? We've walked through power, the fuel choices, how long they run, the cool features. Both are clearly serious machines. Let's break down when each one really seems to shine the brightest. Maybe that will help you make the call. All right, so if you find yourself leaning towards the Westinghouse WGen9500DF, you probably really value that impressive longer runtime up to 12 hours. That's excellent if you want less fussing during a long outage. And the convenience of that remote start fob, being able to power up from, 260 feet away.
That's right, 260 feet.
That's a huge practical plus, especially when it's miserable outside. You also like that it comes basically ready to run with all the accessories included. The dual fuel gives you good flexibility, and that VFT display is a nice bonus for keeping tabs on its health.
It's exactly. That profile fits a lot of users, especially for home backup, where convenience and long, uninterrupted runtime are key. On the other hand, you might find the Generac GP9500 tri-fuel is the perfect match for you if you prioritize the absolute ultimate in fuel versatility, especially that natural gas option. For home backup, if you have a natural gas line, being able to tap into that for a potentially endless fuel source, that completely changes the game. It removes that whole stress of fuel storage and refueling during a crisis.
Yeah, that's a powerful draw.
It really is. And then there's the safety aspect, that CoSense technology, the automatic carbon monoxide shutdown. That provides a level of peace of mind that's hard to put a price on, especially if the generator might be running near where people are sleeping or living. Plus, its heavy-duty build, those covered outlets, the strong steel frame, it just screams durability. Makes it great for rougher environments like job sites, but also adds resilience for home use too.
Makes perfect sense. So it really boils down to what you prioritize most, doesn't it? Both generators deliver series power. They're both well-regarded, easy to start. Are you prioritizing that longer runtime, the incredible convenience of remote start, and the efficiency you get with the Westinghouse? Or does the absolute fuel flexibility, particularly natural gas, combined with that advanced co-sense safety feature of the Generac, weigh more heavily for your specific needs and peace of mind?
Precisely. There's really no single better generator here. It's about which one is the better fit for your specific world, your needs, your priorities.
Well, we've certainly journeyed through the power specs, the strategic fuel options, the endurance factor, and those clever features that enhance safety and convenience. Hopefully you feel much more equipped now to think through which of these powerhouses might be the right choice for you.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with. Given, the increasing frequency of things like extreme weather, grid issues, reliability seems more important than ever. So it raises this question. Beyond just the immediate need or convenience, how might your choices today about things like fuel sources, thinking about natural gas, versus propane versus gasoline availability in your area and these evolving safety technologies, how might those choices impact your long-term energy independence and your household's resilience down the road? What unexpected scenarios, maybe further out, are you really preparing for when you make this kind of investment?
That's definitely something important for you to consider as you think about powering your world, whatever comes next.